What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with another event update for you all today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got ourselves a big monster balance patch coming up underway, and I wanted to go ahead and do something big. As you guys know, we got a couple of Educate and Dominate guests coming up along the way, and one of them happens to be hanging out with me today. We got none other than Beastrix in the house. What is going on, my man?
Just chilling.
Just chilling, yeah. So, real talk here, guys. Real talk. We are getting ready to record the new Educate and Dominate for y'all next week, and it just so happens that the Monster Balance Pass out came out. So, I wanted to go ahead and bring them on board for what I like to call the ones to watch. We're going to take a little sneak peek at this list of units that have been changed, talk about the pros and cons, and just kind of focus on the ones that really are pretty interesting here. But of course, since we have a special guest, he's going to give his insight on that, and then I'm going to go ahead and bust out a couple of questions as I so feel. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get it started out. Mr. Beastrix, obviously the first one, leading off the way, we got ourselves a Water Hell Lady, that Eternal Scar. What is your take on that big AoE change there?
It will come down to the multipliers, but ultimately, as a mechanic, it will be great both for RTA and, general offense. For RTA, it's more because it has great base stats and it has 44 or something percent HP leader skill, along with, those base stats and being able to cut down a lot of the enemy's HP and general debuffs. It's just good overall.
Gotcha. And with regards to this particular unit here, going from a single target to an AoE, there could be an argument for starting to incorporate it not just like an RTA, but possibly in some of those AoE comps. I mean, with regards to like the damage, getting destroyed, enemies max HP by 50% of the inflicted damage, could you see a reason for this for somebody to take advantage of it in the arena? Do you see any issues with regards to Nemesis? What do you think?
Well, you already have some counters to Nemesis, like Poseidon and Charlotte, who reduce the attack bar of the Nemesis healers, so they don't proc. And then you have monsters like Okeanos, who can stun reliably, and stuff like that. So there are, and of course you have those who just nukes the monsters straight out. And in that way you avoid the Nemesis heal.
Gotcha.
But this will just add to that, so we have more options to counter Nemesis healers.
Yep, I was talking to Crystal just on the side. He was kind of interesting to see how the mechanic is going to work, since you can do, with regards to the damage multipliers, and only be able to destroy X amount of HP, or 50% amount of the HP. How is it going to play a role in the Nemesis? So I'm curious on how that'll work. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people testing here. It's going to be an interesting unit. I'm really happy for the Water Hell 80 users for sure.
Yeah, it looks like one of the two biggest buffs that I'm interested in.
Right.
But then again, just so it's mentioned early, in general, it's a disappointing patch.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then again, you can understand that they leave out certain monsters because they need to have the idea of perfect imbalance, so they can buff up other monsters at a later point and then change the balance.
Gotcha.
And get a new meta, so the game stays alive a bit longer.
Gotcha. Cool. Let's see. Next one up here, we got the Wind Hell Lady. Just a change on the beneficial effect buff removal here from 50 to 100%. That's pretty much straightforward. I'm happy with that. I got a Wind Hell Lady. Anybody that messes around with it in the Guild Wars side, trying to get that first turn and remove the will on the people and try to get the stun if you can do enough damage, I think it's going to be helpful. I mean, there's nothing really else to kind of point out. What do you think?
I think that people in general will use it as a Theomars counter, and this just makes it more reliable. But then again, I'm experimenting these days with more tanky, brucey kind of Ethna. I have one myself. It has insane base stats for everything from HP to attack, defense, and speed. So I figured, why not go tanky?
Yep, and it's funny that I was gonna say, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I just got Rick rolled on one of my one of my Guild War matches. I found a Ethna on the Guild War defense, and it was rocking upwards of like 30k HP, somewhere in the vicinity of like 9 900 to 1,000 defense, and still had a reasonably decent amount of like attack, critical rate, critical damage. Like it was nuts, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of the changes. Of course, for the people out there that are like, hey, maybe I'll build a Windhead light, Windhead Lady. Like any other unit out there, the value doesn't really get a shine until you can get yourself those skill ups done, especially on that first, or sorry, second and third skill, having the low cooldown timers. So keep that in mind if you're considering utilizing this a little bit more. But yeah, let's take a look here. Sea Emperor, yeah, water. Okay, it looks a little change here. We got ourselves the cooldown time. I mean, just the cooldown reduction here. What's your take on this particular unit?
Well, it makes it better for PvE in general. You get more attack bar reduction against Dragon B10 and Trial of Ascension and stuff like that. But you can also say that it has a minor effect against Camilas in PvP. But yeah, in general, I just think it upgrades it for PvE.
Gotcha. Yep. And then, of course, we got ourselves the biggest update to date for the Fire and the Dark Ninjas. What the F?
Yeah,
This
that's
is
just
like, what?
meaningless. The thing is, especially when it comes to Han, the Dark Ninja, it already does a lot of damage. Damage isn't the issue; it's application, what you can do with it in a party. So, yeah, it changes nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to ask for too much here, but honestly, like the Fire Ninja literally is one of the few units out there that I think has like really never been like mixed and matched and changed. All these other units around it, Liches, Kung Fu Girls, want to have been changed. The Ninja, this particular Ninja, the Fire Ninja, it's like a joke. I mean, really, it's silly. So hopefully down the road they can see what kind of things they can do with regards to reworking that passive to try to make it viable. But yeah.
I
Oh,
think that because of the leader skills that the ninjas have, uh, if they introduce a monster that needs to go first and it gives you a serious edge, then it will automatically be good.
right. And
But apart from that, yeah, it would need a rework.
right, and
Uh,
and even right now, we see it on the Europe side with Vayne Solador and a couple of others. When it comes to Orochi, people are definitely utilizing Orochi, plus Step and Nard when they have to get that first turn. So I mean, it definitely can have an application, but like you said, you have to have a unit kind of geared around that can you can set up in combination with it to have that first turn there. What about those OG triple OGs, original gangsters, the occult girls? What do you think?
yeah, I think the damage buff is fair. But ultimately, I'm interested in. I think her name is Laura, the light one.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of defense-based attackers, with damage dealers for Guild War offense. So I think it might become good there. But I don't have one, and in general, we haven't seen people try them out because it's been so lowly rated. So yeah, I'm interested in it, but
Yeah.
there's no way to tell from
Right.
my point of view.
Yeah, I think that third skill, I thought it was based on max HP, not defense. I might be misunderstood there, but ultimately, since you're going to be building it in a tanky fashion, having the ability to have that defensive buff, like you said, is really darn good. And of course, for the sneak peek people, getting ready to check the Educate and Dominate out coming up this week, we're going to be talking a lot about just the overall kind of like defense mechanic and the value of defense when it comes to a variety of concepts in the game. So stay tuned for that. Let's see. Dark Beast Monk for the 2% of people out there. Yeah, congratulations. That is awesome. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy for him. It is only one turn, but I'm happy for him. What do you think?
Well, branding is better than a bit of heal, but ultimately the issue with Chandra and Rahul is the hug ability, more
Yep.
so than anything else. I'm of the opinion that they need some sort of heal over time, or so you can't dispel the hug, or something like that. But yeah, I don't see it giving it too much power. It will be slightly better, but
Yep.
not much.
I'm sure Barion's gonna have a good time with that. I'm pretty sure he has two, if not three, of these units here. But for anybody that literally has kept this unit in their monster box, at least they may have a reason to play around with it now. I'm curious to see what people do here. The PQ, Dark PQ, Dark Polo Queen in the house. Mrs. Q, what do you think?
It will be a bit speculative because we don't know the extra damage it will deal based on what the partners receive in damage. But it looks like it could be good for a style arena defense in that you have the fire mummies who reflect damage, and in that way makes nuking them a bit risky. In the same way you could use the dark Polar Queen.
And so, with regards to this change here, I ain't gonna lie, this kind of hurt my head a little bit reading it, but ultimately, in order for this kind of mechanic to work, right, it's gonna have to like literally kind of soak up the damage and whatnot. So this is not a unit that is going to be kind of built in a squish your face, and it has to be built to be able to take a hit so it can dish it back out, right? So, in your humble opinion right now, even though we cannot really discuss the multipliers, if people were to be like, you know what, Beastrix, I want to play around with this in the arena defense, right off your head, what do you think? How would you build this one if you had it right now for arena defense?
I'd use Will and uncertain if the shield would detract the damage from the passive, but if it wouldn't, then I'd go Will, shield, and whatever, just to give it high stats.
Gotcha. So stats over sets, but obviously Will, because we're playing around with it on defense, and then if we could work that shield in, for sure. It'll all depend on how that shield mechanic works. Cool, awesome. Let's see. We got the Jackos, the Jack-o'-lanterns, the Jacko. Who I don't even know what this unit is. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them. Well, I think it stems back from when their animations were so slow.
Right.
So since then, I just haven't had any use of them. So I haven't looked into them. So
yeah.
I have a friend who's interested in the changes, but yeah, I just look past them.
Yep. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not pretty like I it's funny because I originally got excited about these units way back in the day, but then once that animation came out, I'm like, lol, move it over.
Yeah.
Next one. Let's see.
It's for Necro, it can compete slightly with Adrian, the fire archer ranger. Was it the name? I'm gonna check. Elven Ranger.
Oh yeah, Elven Ranger. Okay.
Yeah, for Necro, with getting multi hits in and speed buff. So, yeah, but I found Adrian to be more than good enough for that role back when I used those kind of Necro comps.
Gotcha. All right, let's take a look here. What's your take on this new addition to the passive here on the Light Horse? Increase attack bar recovery amount from 25% to 30%. Just a small change in here. What do you think?
Well, it does put down the speed requirements a bit for whoever you want to partner it with for nukes, and it does help a bit over longer fights as you get more attack bar. But yeah, it's hard to say. It's not a unit you see every day. So
right. And that's the thing. Most of the people I've been hearing them talk about the Light Anumis or the Dark Anumis. Light Horse is still kind of one of those units that I have not seen once.
I've seen it a couple of times.
Oh, have you?
I would like one for myself.
Gotcha.
If my memory serves me right, then I think it has a defense and anti-crit buff for the party. And yeah, again, I'm a big fan of defense-based units, so could be good for Guild War offense.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that attack bar boost, it could be good for Guild War defense as well, but you'd have to tinker around a lot with it to make it work properly.
Right on.
I think.
No, I agree with that assessment there. Brownie Magician, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little sad, but I think it was well overdue here. That run skill, getting the limited amount of additional turns to 2. This unit paired on a Violet set, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's tons of videos out there watching this unit go like 8 or 9 times in a row. Happy or sad about this change? What do you think?
Well, I don't really care. You have since I'm a god. Well, I'm someone who cares a lot about Guild Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, you have a violent Orion will still be able to proc the shit out of you because it will reset the proc tally. And if you have a Swift Orion, it will be because you need to go first and get the advantage you need to win the war, you could say, on that one turn. And so, yeah, it doesn't change much for me.
Gotcha.
And it can still proc 2 times and then go back into its prank.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah,
So yeah, it will just reduce the chances of an Orion going ham, but it will still be possible for a violent Orion, and for a swift one, doesn't really matter.
Yeah. The additional turns, even though it's locked down, you still have a couple additional turns, and any additional turn you get to be able to produce a harmless prank, I mean, it's still going to be good. So, I'm a big fan of this unit, and kind of like you said, I don't really think it's too meaningful here. Speaking of jokes here, we got ourselves the Fire and the Light Grim Reaper. Why did they even change this? Do they think we even use this unit? What is going on?
Well, they listen to the players. No, it's meaningless.
Yeah, they definitely listen to us to play.
Some still use South for fireman farming, but if you do that today,
Yeah.
It's like using Armon. It's something we did in 2000 whenever the game came out.
Yeah. These Grim Reapers are 2008. That's what they are. They're 2008.
Yeah.
Light Sky Dancer. Looks like we got a little bit of a change here. The attack arm manipulation up to 100% and recovers your HP by 50%. That looks like a substantial change, but again, for the 3% of people out there, congratulations. Yeah, buddy. We're excited for you.
I think Space Cat will be happy.
Space Cat. There you go. Oh, man. Yeah, we better get some new videos.
It looks like a good buff, but again, as you say, it's not everyone has one. But then again, we've heard a lot of people talk about the Sky Dancer, and they were unhappy with it. Hopefully, they can give a new assessment and say if it's on par with what they expect now.
Yep, right on. Let's see here. From Sky Dancer to Drunken Masters, let's take a look at this one here. A little bit of extra. 25%. Not a decent amount of units, but I still can't see a lot of people playing around with this with regards to the meta here. I still think it's kind of like lackluster here. What do you think?
But they are increasing the damage from it, because with the old multipliers, you had issues with the base stat being too small compared to the multiplier in order to get the hits you want.
And this one the one that ignores defense though?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because I was gonna say like 25% is a pretty substantial amount, but I didn't know if it was the second, like which skill it was. I mean, if it's the first one that ignores defense.
I haven't checked, but I'm just guessing that they're
sure.
increasing that because that's the part that will make you build one or not.
Right.
So yeah, looks like a cheap option for someone who wants to nuke a Vela Jewel or just for raids in general. So yeah, okay, but not at the top of the list of monsters that needed a buff.
Right, and it's not a guaranteed ignore defense, right? It's a percentage chance for that ignore defense to go, I believe, so if I remember correctly. Let's see here. Martial Artist. Yay! This is my one to watch. I mean, a lot of people are talking about Beth. I believe myself. I believe Vane. I believe Beastrix. We're pretty excited to see the new fire tractor here. Let's talk about it. What's your take on this unit here? What do you like?
I have high hopes. And Sin, it comes down to the multipliers of the additional damage from the defense from the passive. In the end, if it does decent damage, then okay, it will be good as a fire tractor. But it does have lower base stats than tractor does, so the rune quality will have to be higher in order to get the same out of it. But then again, it's fire and not water, so you'll be using it against different comps, which will play a part as well. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for Sin.
Yep, definitely.
The rest of them I didn't really look much into. In general, I don't think they have much going for them, except for the fire one for now. Yeah,
and right now, obviously, we don't really know, how it's going to play in with regards to damage multipliers and whatnot. But let's say, hypothetically speaking, you had a unit like this right now. Would you build this in a fashion similar to like a Wind Panda, or would you have to? Would you consider, playing around with, like a critical damage on 4? What do you think you'd build this one if you had it?
I'd build it like a tractor.
Okay.
Defense, crit damage, defense, and try to get as much speed, crit damage, and crit rate and HP on it as possible through substats.
Gotcha.
Well, ultimately, whatever gives you the best stats, but I'd also likely consider violent destroy or destroy plus a shield set like I have on my tractor. Just to help out in case I want to hit those Orions. But yeah, I have to see how it goes.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah,
but yeah, if it goes like tractor, I'll definitely have a destroy set on it.
Yep.
And then I have to figure out the rest after that. But violent, shield, broken, whatever, all of them should be good.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Well, that is the end of the list with regards to our monster changes and whatnot. We have a couple other changes here, but of course, as always, guys, you can go ahead and take a look at it. Some of these things are interesting changes, but I think for the majority of them here, they're not going to make too much big of a deal unless you're looking at the condition modification. When you get missing hit, you won't be able to land those specific harmful effects. That's pretty much it for our once to watch video. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Beastrix, before we go ahead and end it out?
No.
Alrighty. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. Next week, we will have ourselves the Educate and Dominate video putting out. It's going to be a continuation of our Operation Mid-Game, focusing on our mid-game level when it comes to Guild Wars. So if you guys are a Guild War, if you're in that C3, G1, G2 range, and you're looking to try out some new units, or figure out what it is you can do to improve, stay tuned for that, because we're going to provide all the tools you need to succeed. All right, that is it, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish and Beastrix with ChildishPlays checking out. Take care, and we will see you all next week in that Educate and Dominate video. I'm out.